Is the Zodiac Super Seawolf Compression Diver the best Swiss-made dive watch under $2,000? I'm not sure, but its quirky design and fun colors surely make a case for it. Let's take a look. When somebody asks me to recommend a well-made and unique dive watch for under $2,000, it can be quite the task. Yes, there are a lot of smaller brands popping up these days that make interesting pieces, but if you're looking for something Swiss-made with actual heritage and its own design aesthetic, one brand really sticks out to me, Zodiac. And they are one of the few brands that have successfully executed both vintage-inspired pieces as well as much more modern designs. The Zodiac Super Seawolf Compression Diver reference ZO9304 is a modern-looking diver with good specs and funky colors, but was actually inspired by a watch from the 1960s. Who says you can't have it all? I've been collecting watches for over 25 years, so when I say I've seen a lot of dive watches in that time, I'm not exaggerating. Dive watches is probably the most popular category of watches on the market, and so often it's your first watch when you begin collecting. And while there are so many brands out there producing divers, something strange just seemed to happen, especially in the under $2,000 price category. A lot of these watches just look the same, and they not only look the same, but they look like a Rolex Submariner. I'll admit, the Submariner is a very attractive diver, but it's lazy when a large percentage of what's on the market, especially among more affordable options, appears to be a sub-homage. But I can never accuse Zodiac of copying any brand with their diver designs, whether it's their more vintage-inspired pieces or their modern watches. The Super Seawolf Compression Diver ZO9304 really fits into both categories, and it is just an incredibly fun watch to wear. I tend to think of the Super Seawolf Compression Diver as a more modern diver, even though it has a predecessor from the 1960s. Zodiac obviously took inspiration from their catalog, particularly the Seawolf 722-946B 1781. I found that really interesting, as the watch just seems so modern and fresh. The first thing you notice when wearing the Super Seawolf ZO9304 is the funky colorway. Nicknamed the Gulf, the watch features an orange outer 60-minute ring with a light blue bezel with orange text. The Gulf Oil Company logo has the same colorway. However, the Zodiac's blue and orange are much more pastel. The bezel is sapphire, which can be prone to fingerprints, but because of the light blue color of the bezel insert, the Super Seawolf does not have this problem. The bezel is also unidirectional, 120 clicks, and has a really nice and tactile turning experience. One of my favorite parts of this watch is the silver dial. You might not notice at first, but it has a sunray effect. It's slight and not noticeable in every light, but it works well with the orange and blue theme. It almost looks like mother of pearl when viewed from some angles. Like on the vintage Seawolf models from the 1960s, the lugs are straight and angular. The lugs are polished on the top, which is a nice contrast from the rest of the brushed case. In vintage fashion, the lugs are long and straight, meaning the lug-to-lug measure is 49 millimeters. So while the watch is only 40 millimeters in diameter and 13 millimeters thick, it wears a little bit bigger than that. But I didn't feel that it was too large on my 6.75-inch wrist. The watch comes on a 5-link Jubilee bracelet, which like most Jubilee bracelets is incredibly comfortable. The middle 3 links are polished. There's a nice taper on the bracelet as well, which I always appreciate. And while the bracelet is extremely comfortable to wear, it's easily removable through a quick release system. I think this watch will look just as good on a nice rubber strap, so it's great that you can easily change it out from bracelet to strap. I might suggest a white rubber strap or orange tropic strap to throw on the watch when you're looking for something a little bit different. The Super Seawolf ZO9304 runs on the STP-111 automatic movement with 44 hours of power reserve. It is Swiss made, has 26 joules, and beats at 28,800 VPH or 4 Hz. The movement is solid and basically has the same specs as an ETA 2824 movement. It helps that Zodiac's parent also owns STP, allowing them to put these movements in Zodiac watches. As I said, I really like Zodiac watches in the under $2,000 price category. I find that you get a lot of value from both a design and quality standpoint. I particularly like that the brand doesn't take itself too seriously and produces some really fun tool watches in quirky colorways you don't really see anywhere else. To me, that's what makes Zodiac so interesting as a brand. I mean, just take a look at some of their recent collaborations, including with Worn & Wound. I only got to wear the Super Seawolf Compression Diver ZO9304 for a short period of time, but in that time, I actually received a lot of compliments on the watch. With the watch market booming in recent years, there seems to be an oversaturation of the same 3 or 4 brands causing many to become desensitized. It's really only when I wear something truly eye-catching and unique that someone will make a comment to me these days. And this Zodiac fits the bill. You can pick up the Zodiac Super Seawolf Compression Diver ZO9304 for $1,695. So what do you think of the Super Seawolf Compression Diver? What's your favorite dive watch under $2,000? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.